The Lynk Co 900 EMP may have more power in a single wheel than knockout artist Deontay Wilder. But I do worry when OEMs put performance and 3.3 tons together. Hopefully, this can put the power down and move accordingly, unlike the notoriously flat-footed Bronze Bomber. I'm Will, and this is China Driven. The pricing in China for the Lynk Co 900, this 5.24 meter long, 3.16 meter wheelbase, 3-row premium PHEV starts at just under $44,000, with the top-end triple motor models costing $58,000. That's a lot of car for the money. And no, it isn't a pure EV. But these are not Japanese or European hybrids. They're equipped with decently sized batteries and decent EV-only ranges. The EV-only range in the 900 ranges from 220 kilometers up to 280 kilometers. The 1.5 turbo models have a 43.4 kilowatt-hour NCM battery, while the 2 liters have a larger 52.4 kilowatt-hour hybrid pack, a mix of LFP and sodium cells for better cold weather performance. Fast charging times, 20 to 80%, takes between 17 and 25 minutes. But all of them, every single model in the range, claims a combined range of over 1,400 kilometers. For the 1.5 turbo, when the battery is depleted, you can expect 6.95 liters per 100 kilometers. Now the 2 liters are obviously thirstier, and they claim 7.29 liters per 100 kilometers. Now some things are subjective whilst others are objective. And beauty may be the former, but objectively, Lynk Co's styling is divisive. This is their next day design language, 2.0 call it. And I think it's matured, it's less awkward than earlier models. In fact, I think the 900 looks quite handsome. And as some of you know, Lynk Co and Zeekr's relationship has kind of got even closer than before. They both now essentially operate together. And we get what Zeekr calls the Stargate. This doesn't really have a name really in English yet. It's like the Stargate that you'll see in Zeekr. Let's call it the light band. Well, this has 10,192 individual LEDs that allow it to display little animations like this cute little dog up here. And you display other things as well, like letting people cross the road or saying hello. And in the rear, the light bar back there has another 2,000 individual LEDs as well. Up here as well, you get obviously active aero down in the front grille, and you also get these daylight running lights. I'm quite a big fan of them. They stretch down into the front fascia, the headlights below them, and these DRLs stretch all the way back into the bonnet. I really honestly think that this might be the most handsome Lynk Co vehicle yet. As you come past this elongated DRL, you walk past the 21-inch rims on this model, and you come up to this headlight, which is not unique because we've seen it in Lynk Co 08, although it has evolved now. It's more flush with the whole car, but you still do get the Lynk Co lit up. Up top, you get roof rails to carry more stuff, as well as an auto-deploying step to aid getting in and out. Flush door handles, of course. And then once you get back here, this rear 3/4 panel, I mean, to me, it just screams Range Rover. In fact, most of this side profile is very Range Rover-like, but that's not a bad thing because I think we can all agree that Range Rovers are pretty handsome SUVs. Now back here, of course, is the rear end. You've got a hidden window wiper, a really long LED brake light, as well as this individual LEDs that will light up to show different things. Lynk Co embossed and illuminated. Overall, very clean back end. But this is the thing that I love about this. this, as far as I know, is the first Chinese NEV with a split tailgate, which I absolutely love. At this kind of height here, for me personally, it's a bit tall, but you can drop the whole car on its rear air suspension, and that's going to make it a lot more easier for you to sit on the back of here. This will support up to 300 kilos. You can even buy directly from Lynk Co kind of little seats that fasten to the back of here, and you get a little seat back to recline on a little bit. But the other thing that I love back here that a lot of people may appreciate with such a car is it has an auto deploying tow bar, and it's able, the 900, to tow up to 2 tons. Pop that away, drop the split tailgate again, and yes, the boot isn't huge with all 3 rows, but you can drop that 3rd row quite easily by a touch of a button back here. And also there is a 2.2 kilowatt, 220 volt socket back here, so you can power things off the car. And there's also another one on the interior as well. So into the belly of the beast, 3 rows of luxury, proper flagship stuff. But I have to say, the styling is not what I'd usually expect from Lynk Co. Normally as a brand, their interiors like to play around with a mix of materials, whereas in here it's smothered just in pretty much leather and really high grade faux leather. That faux leather is so good that it's really hard to kind of know what's real and what isn't. The seats, however, are all Nappa leather for all 3 rows, and all 3 rows, including the 3rd row, have massage and heat. And the 1st and 2nd row, well, they get ventilation as well. So back to the design quickly. Inside here, you'll find these metal accents, and in this colorway, they're a kind of rose gold PVD. And I think it really adds to give it a premium feeling in here. And with this white interior, I think it looks absolute boss. So screens in here, yes, screens, there's more than one. We'll come back to that one. But the other one may be a little bit more difficult for you to see because that 12.66 inch digital instrument panel is just a slither behind the wheel. However, surprisingly, it's got all the information that you need, and it's actually really quite clear and easy to read with the speedometer front and center. But it's got a huge 95-inch AR heads-up display, and that's got enough real estate for everything the driver needs to see, including your mapping, as well as things like the full visualization of the ADAS system. And they actually say when you are in park, you can actually play a movie on that heads-up display as well. That's the first time I've heard of that. And all of this is being powered by dual Snapdragon 8295P chips, including this attention-grabbing single widescreen panel. It's 30 inches and its resolution is 6K. That's wild. Now it functions as both the central infotainment screen as well as the passenger entertainment screen, and it can be used either as a kind of full screen layout or in split screen. In fact, even the vanity mirror is widescreen. Back here in the 2nd row, there's another identical single widescreen panel, 30 inches, 6K. Absolute madness. But to be honest with you, it's become kind of a reoccurring thing with Geely brands products in the last year or so to have these super wide screens, IMAX-like screens. Now, you can watch things in a full screen version, or just like the front, you can actually watch them as a split screen. So the person in this seat could be watching one movie whilst I watch another. And the audio from my movie is going to be piped through my headrest speakers and theirs through theirs. But it's definitely a way to solve arguments if you have multiple kids who want to watch different things. So the front row and the 2nd row have those headrest speakers. So that's 8 headrest speakers in total. And that's part of this huge surround sound system. It's 31 speakers, a hardened carbon system with 2,640 watts. And it's also got Dolby Atmos spatial audio. And it sounds pretty fantastic. You can even do a little bit of work back here, because up top, you've got a webcam for video calling or video conferencing, as well as tray tables to put your laptop on. So, multifunctional. And you get another little screen down behind the central console. It's basically your control panel for all of your settings for this second and third row. Things like the AC, the seat settings like massaging and heating, as well as controlling the screen and controlling the two glass roofs that have a sliding shutter. It's easy enough to reach, and you can also use it to open the fridge back here as well. This fridge will actually go from -6 to 10 degrees, or from 35 degrees all the way up to 50. In another video of mine recently, somebody commented that it looked like there was a lot of headroom, but well, for me, you could put a roof on an F1 car and I'd still have acres of headspace. But this thing is truly vertically spacious. Even if you were a normal size adult, you'd have no problem with the headspace in here, nor the leg space. This seat is all the way back, but if you put it into a more normal kind of sitting position, plenty of space for the person in the back, and you have plenty of space as well with the driver in a half decently rearward driving position. But this thing has a little trick with this second row that is picked up from its cousin, the Zeekr Mix, and if you watch that video, you'll know what's about to happen. A little bit of magic, because if I just jump out and press and hold a little button here, all of a sudden, things start happening on the inside. Slowly. And just like that, you've got a lot more room back here. So now still sat in the second row, but facing 180 in the other way. They say that the space between these seats and the third row now is 1.7 meters, which means if you fold down that third row, you can put a full-size bed in here, or near enough. You can also add table or some accessories manually to the kind of tracks down the middle that the seats slide on. There is one little problem back here when you're sat in this configuration, and that relates to the fridge. Here is the best place to have a fridge, but the problem here is if you try to open it, you can't actually open it because it's too narrow between the seats. Now I'll spin them back around, we'll go to the third row. I'll spare you watching it again. So Lynk Co talk about the fact that every seat is a VIP seat, and you already know back here you get heated seats and you get massage seats. You also get a USB socket, you also get air outlets, AI voice assistant, and obviously a cup holder. And as far as room back here goes, I've got some knee room with this seat fairly far back, and there's a little cutout for my feet to slot underneath the seats in front. It's fairly comfortable. Now I know I'm not that tall. There is a recline function, however, to give you even more space, and it goes quite a way back. But that is not the impressive part of this third row. There is something which is, just watch this. See this knee room? I'm still going. I might not even be in frame anymore. Look at that. You're talking about that much difference that you can move the whole seat base back, and then we can even lay it back even more. That's an incredible amount of third row room. That's the stupid amount. This honestly is an extremely impressive third row. Okay, sure. If you're like 6'3" or 200 centimeters, head space is not going to be that kind to you. But in every other aspect, I'm very, very surprised with just how much space you're getting back here. Now for power, you got 3 levels. We got 3 different drivetrains in here. You got the 1.5 litre turbo with dual motor. That's got 530 kilowatts of power and 1,000 Newton meters of torque. Now this mid-range version is a 2 litre turbo engine with also dual motors as well, but it's got a slightly higher 540 kilowatts of power and 1,038 Newton meters of torque. The top end 900 is actually the 2-liter turbo, same one as this one, but it's paired with 3 motors. It's a triple motor drivetrain, and that supposedly has 650 kilowatts and 1,248 Newton meters, which just sounds like an awful lot for a family car. But in true kind of PHEV tradition, those numbers don't necessarily relate to absolutely neck-breaking speed like you would imagine if it was a pure EV platform. They all do the dash in under 5 seconds, ranging from about 4.8 to 4.3 seconds. So none of them are insanely quick, but more than quick enough for a 3-row family SUV. So this is a heavy SUV, 3.3 tons. But, you know, Geely and Volvo have been together for quite a while, the Geely Group and Volvo, and obviously Lynk Co belongs to Geely Group as well. Well, that means you have access to, you know, all of the different kind of brands' knowledge in some way or another. And there's been a real push recently on Geely products, Zeekr products, Lynk Co products about their safety. Now, this 3.3 ton SUV will brake from 100 kilometers an hour to 0 in 33.95 meters, which is pretty damn good. That beats out some much lighter EV SUVs. So good on them. They also say that the AEB, the automatic emergency braking, will work up to a speed of 130 kilometers an hour, which is important because the top speed you can drive in China on the highway is 120 kilometers an hour. This has a double wishbone up front and a multi-link in the rear for suspension, and it comes equipped with both CDC, continuous dampening, where it's kind of stiffening up and kind of softening the dampeners as you're going along, and it comes along with air suspension as well. But this is closed double chamber air suspension, which I'm not sure why it's better, but they say that it is the next step up to the normal double chamber or open double chamber air suspension that we usually see in more premium Chinese EVs. It also has something they're calling intelligent AI, which is basically a road scanning function where the car's going to scan the road ahead of itself, and it's going to adjust the CDC and the air suspension to try to smooth out the ride as much as possible. But that system also supposedly will be able to try and automatically detect what kind of road surface you're on and give you a suggestion of what mode you should be in, like should be in snow mode or mud mode or sand mode, which I guess is pretty cool. But I mean, I could just look out the window and go, I'm driving over sand, I should be in sand mode. The top-end Lynk Co 900 comes with triple motor setup and 10 degrees of rear wheel steering, which allows it to do a few different tricks. It has a tight turning radius of less than 5 meters, and it can also crab walk. Locking a front wheel and pivoting around it, the 900 can do what Lynk Co are calling a waltz turn, aiding parking into tight parallel spaces. This is a proper world's first. The Lynk Co 900 is the first production car in the world to offer the new Nvida Thor SoC, and it's a big jump in terms of compute. The Nvida Thor has nearly 3 times the compute of the Nvidia Orin X. We used the Highway NOA and it was solid, but the full ADAS suite isn't ready yet, and our car model doesn't have the Nvidia Thor chip anyway. So do I think that this is really sporty or performance orientated? No, it's got a lot of power. The triple motor may, be a bit more nimble or agile with some kind of electronic help. But this is what this car is made for, really, in my opinion. Crunching miles in comfort. On the highway, it can just sit at speed. It doesn't care. Everything feels so smooth. You barely feel anything. And this is where it feels most at home, not on a twisty country lane. You can shoehorn it down one, but it's much more happy here. As the lines blur between Geely's premium EV brand Zeekr with rumors of upcoming PHEVs and its PHEV brand Lynk Co, which has pure EVs on its roster, there's no doubt that this is a big boy, a heavyweight, a true premium full-size SUV that shows that Geely is an absolute heavyweight, and it's something I resonate with. I'm chunky, supple to the touch, with a dash of luxury, but boy, can I move fast.